I have received a package from our good subscriber, a junk collector, Don, up there in Ohio. I knew it was coming, and it's something he sold. I purchased it, and we worked out a deal. I say we worked out a deal. I had to do most of the work, and because he just wouldn't cooperate, trying to get a price set and all this stuff. But we finally got it taken care of, and it came through the mail, and it arrived today. Let's open it up and see what it is. Well, they packed it well using bed pads. And actually, I could use these for our doggy pooches too whenever we leave the house. They work good. Good padding there, Dawn. Oh my goodness, we got a whole pack of them here. I'll tell you what, folks, I've been at this now for over 5 minutes, and this is like opening up one of those Chinese puzzle boxes. I still haven't got it open. I got to kind of be careful with it. But anyway, for those of you who sell things on eBay, or you buy things on eBay, if you sell it, this is the way you pack your double box. If you buy, you tell the seller he better double box. It's a Drake 2B ham frequency receiver, and it dates from around 1961, 1962, somewhere in that area there. And it took the place of the Drake 2A. I've been wanting one of these, I want to be able to just like tune into the ham radio frequencies. Now this little particular radio has been used quite a bit, and you can always tell how much a radio's been used by how much dirt is in the slots on the knobs. Okay, if it's relatively clean all the way across, it either means someone was very fastidious and kept their rig spotless, or it wasn't used that much. But in this case, you can see, look at all the dirt in that frequency knob there. So I'm going to have to take all these knobs off and give them a good cleaning. No problem. I'll just scrub them with a brush and maybe put them in my ultrasonic cleaner. I don't know. Now this model has 10 tubes in it, and I shined up a lot of the tops of the cans. I didn't shine them up. I cleaned them up, cleaned the transformer. And normally there is a crystal calibrator. Well, not normally. It was an add-on. I was kind of hoping this one would have the crystal calibrator. It's a one tube setup that plugs into there, and you can calibrate your dial every 100 kilocycles. And these are all a bunch of crystals in here. This is kind of neat. I got to learn about these things. I'm not sure how to read the top of these things, but I will learn. I have a friend that's going to show me. But anyway, that's what we've got here. I got a couple of things sticking off the back. I'll probably eliminate those. This is a copper plated chassis. Kind of hard to clean. It's the copper. Much of it is gone. It's worn down. I'll give you a close up here. Let you see. See how the copper under here is still there, nice and shiny. Out here, it's all gone. There's not much you can do about it. I'm just going to wind up just cleaning it up the best I can and going with it. Anyway, according to I'm a Junk Collector, it does not work. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'll bring it up on the Variac this weekend. Today's Friday. I do intend to fry up some potatoes and onions. It's been raining for 3 days straight now, almost 4 in Arkansas, so the burn bans are long gone, and hopefully I'll be able to find enough dry wood to get the old fire going and cook some potatoes and onions this weekend. That'll be part of this video. And here's what it looks like underneath. I like it. It looks like it's totally unmolested. I've gone over this thing completely. The only thing that might not be original is this electrolytic right here, but it looks like it could be. Normally this thing is a brownish color, and it's mounted down further against the chassis. This one's up high, but this could be an early model of the 2B or a later model of the 2B, and I'll tell you why. Check out this. This is the tuning string with the tuning dial right here that I'm moving with my hand. And this is what turns this big wheel with the tuning string. This is what you dial, you tune in your radio stations with. Now, some of these radios, the receivers, had a gear reduction mechanism right here with another little reducing mechanism attached to the inside of the chassis. So this may be a later model, and they decided to do away with it. Or if it's an earlier model, they added it at a later time. But the gear reduction mechanism is completely gone off of this model, and I can see that it's never been there to begin with. So I don't know, there's probably going to be a few changes, so that's what makes me think that this might be original. The solder joint is a little sloppy. It's got a lot. I notice all the solder joints in this radio are nice and clean. They look very good. There's no no flux anywhere. But if you look at this one right here, it's got quite a bit of flux on it. See, that's what makes me think it could be, you know, a change out. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to change that out anyway. Well, as you can see, the weather just does not want to cooperate with my desire to cook some potatoes and onions out here on the old fire pit there, or fire container, whatever you want to call it. And the grass is growing a lot. The trees are budding out and everything, and I'm glad I was able to till up those 2 spots of land before all this rain happened. We have more rain expected here in a little while, so we're gonna have to cook our taters and onions. And on the stove, I guess. Got not much choice. And I'm doing this, by the way, for I'm a junk collector up there in Ohio. Oh, Don, he's always making fun of my toe food. You know, he calls it, it's actually tofu, but he calls it toe food, T-O-E. He said he wants some good food to eat. All right. That's why I'm doing it. Taters and onions coming up. A while back, I showed everybody this radio that was given to me on one of my Mish-Mash videos, I think it was. It's an RCA RBC 5, and it was found on board Navy ships. And it's all real hard and rugged and everything, solid metal front. Man, this is really tough stuff here. Anyway, this thing has been sitting out in the rain, snow, and ice for many years. You know, and the guy said, I don't know what it is. I was told it was a ham radio, so I said, well, bring it in, I'll take it. He says, you want it? I said, yeah. I said, bring it in. So he did, and I said that once the weather got warm, I would go ahead and we'll pop it open and take a look at it. And it's been sitting on this table in my carport all this time. I wasn't worried about anybody picking up and running off with it. Nope. First of all, nobody would want it. It weighs about 10,000 pounds. Anyway, even though it's a rainy, miserable, crappy day, I thought, what the heck, the temperature's nice. Why not just go ahead and open it up and see what's inside? I'm not expecting a whole lot. Well, we're making some headway. Let me tell you something. It's not easy dragging that baby out. They had catches down here. These are catches that only allowed it to come out so far, and then you had to push in with your thumb on both sides to get these catches to release so it would come out the rest of the way. I guess that's to keep it from falling on the tech when he's bringing it out or changing tubes. Maybe he can change them without having to take the entire thing out. So I'll tell you what, you got to give those old Navy radio men credit, those radio repair guy, the electronics types. Can you imagine hauling these things in and out all day long trying to keep them running? Well, there she is. Look at the condition of those tubes. I mean, we're talking, what, 9, 10 years sitting out in the ice and snow and rain in a pile of junk? And look at the condition on the inside of this. This is amazing. I'd say that says something about the weatherproofing that was put into this radio. Well, I decided to try to take out a couple screws here, but it's just not going to happen. These things are frozen in. I don't want to strip out the screw heads. And underneath there, these are all your adjustments for your various pots, transformers, coils. This is probably just a shield and a cover. How's that for a wafer switch, huh? Here's one side of it where we can, see something. It's upside down. And let me see. Let's go ahead and see if we can zoom on in here. We've got a bunch of capacitors that are really rusty here. They didn't fare too well. They're really rusted up. Let's see if I can get a little closer even. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't do so well. And then a whole bunch of them up here. There you go, Don. If the steam doesn't fog up my lens on my camera. Potatoes and onions are almost done. Boy, they look good. I've got garlic, onion powder, paprika, salt and pepper, and season all in there. Wifey's over here. She's frying up some Pork chops. Can't wait. Can't wait. Well, I'm making a little bit of progress on this Drake 2B. I've just been kind of playing around with it, you know, seeing what I could come up with and see if I can get it to make any sound. Once it makes a little noise, you know you're pretty much home free. Let me crank up the RF gain again. I think my biggest problem here is with this pre-selector switch right here. I'm going to have to take the lid off it and see what it looks like underneath. And then it'll need a good alignment. That's about it. All the tubes checked out good, all the voltages, the electrolytic, the B plus is fine all the way through, and I don't see a thing wrong with it. So I don't know. I think it's just an alignment and a good cleaning and a real good inspection of that pre-selector. We have a big storm going on outside, and they've spotted a tornado, which is we're right here. The tornado is down in this area right here, about 8 miles away.
Hey everybody, Ed Buckner again with you. It is west of Mayflower, moving to the east at 30. So that's a little bit of a different story now. Now we're talking
last year, old Mayflower got blasted pretty good with a tornado, and once again, it's coming this way. I think it was last year, wasn't it, honey?
Very close to Mayflower.
Year before last.
Put it at. If it's moving due east,
all right. It's going to miss us, but it is heading toward where our daughter lives again. Oh, poor thing.
Man.
Look at the hail. Tornado's close. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's not looking good out there at all. Hear the hail hitting the glass? Look at that. I guess we should consider ourselves lucky. Other places are getting golf ball size hail. Look at that, it looks like snow out there. Holy mackerel. I haven't seen this much hail in years. Well, the siren's going off and the fun continues. With a couple of tornadoes, at least 2 to 3. And heading right for where our daughter lives again. At that town, Bologna, you wouldn't catch me living in that place. That's right in the tornado path. Anyway, we'll see what happens. The night is still young.
It looks like
anyway, if you see this video uploaded, you'll know that we survived the night. There's Conway.
I'll double check that.
And the daughter's place is right about in there where the tornado's moving.
And that's the storm I was telling you earlier that would produce.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's more coming up behind it too. Ooh.
And right now, there's not a tornado.
Here we have 4 eggs boiling. I'm going to make them hard boiled. And they come from a fella I work with at work. He has a bunch of chickens and laying hens, and he brings them in, sells them to us for $2 a dozen. Good deal. Farm fresh eggs, only a couple days old. And over here we have one more of those eggs. We have some flour. We have some garlic and herb breadcrumbs. We have some ground mustard. And a little bit of nutmeg. And in here we have some Italian sausage. Alright, let's go ahead and put a little bit of nutmeg in here. I'm not going to put a whole lot, just enough to give it a little flavor. And we're going to put a little bit of that mustard in there, not a whole lot. About that much ought to do it. To get a good mix, I went ahead and wet my hand and then just started squishing it all together. You have to wet your hand 2 or 3 times, you know, to go ahead and get a really good mix, but none of it sticks to your hands when you do that. By the way, this is sweet Italian sausage. The eggs have been boiled. One of them had a crack in the egg and I didn't know it, and it kind of came out a little bit, but it's going to work. It's still in one piece. It doesn't matter. I've dried the eggs off, shelled them and dried the eggs off. Now what we're going to do is take a little bit of this meat, this old Italian sausage, and we're going to put it down in here and flatten it out to about maybe 1/4 inch thick and make a round circle out of it. I fold it over the plastic, and then, that way I don't have to worry about it getting all over my hands and everything. I flatten it out to about 1/4 inch. Now what we're going to do is separate the plastic, like so. And then take an egg. I'll have to undo it, and then I'm going to set an egg in the middle, and then keeping my fingers wet in the bowl, I'm going to shape this thin layer of Italian sausage all over the egg. Well, there she is, all finished. Now what we're going to do, I've got it pretty much the shape of the egg. If I can get it off this plastic, that is. Shucks, get off of there. First thing we're going to do is take it over here, and we're going to dip it in flour. That's right, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, put flour all over that baby. It's looking good already, isn't it, folks? You better believe it. Alright. Cover it up really good. Get a nice covering. Then, after we get that done, we're going to put it in some egg wash here. Just a scrambled egg is all it is. Push it all through there. Normally this is done with 2 hands, but you know. And then, after I get it all washed in the egg, trying to keep it shaped, that is, I'm going to put it over here in the bread, garlic, and herb breadcrumbs, just like I did the flour. It's all the same. And get this thing done really good. I want it to be well covered. Alright, now what we're going to do is do 3 more of those. Alright, they're all done. Different sizes, of course. I have a tough time making anything the same size if it's more than one item. Anyway, the next step is to get these things cooked. We are going to deep fry these things. I've got the temperature a little bit high on there. I don't want it quite that high, so I just cranked down the old stove. We're going to deep fry them for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, I guess. Let's see what they look like. Oh, they're looking real nice. They look like a little old potato, don't they? And little white potatoes that have been boiled. Alright, I'm going to crank the heat way down now. Wifey says it looks like they're done. They're a lot darker in the camera than they actually are. But what we're going to do is go ahead and cut the end off of one and see if the meat is cooked. Well, for the most part, it looks really done on the inside, just right. It's a little bit raw up near where the egg and the meat are meeting, so I put them back in for about another minute or so and make sure they're nice and cooked. I don't want any raw Italian sausage. Alright, that looks a whole lot better. And now these things you can cool them off in the refrigerator. You can eat them tomorrow. You don't have to re-cook them or anything or heat them up, or you can just microwave them. It's entirely up to you. And what we have here is Italian sausage scotch eggs. I'll tell you what, this little piece right here I just tasted. Ooh boy, it's good. Well, there you go, all done. Cooked at 275, cooked at about 320, 330, 340, and sometimes 350. I had to keep adjusting the stove. I think next time I'll cook these at just 275. Ranch dressing. Put a little bit of that on there, a little bit on there, and a little bit there. Oh boy, I'll tell you what. That's good. You all got to give that a try now.